Hello. Here are 10 more philosophy-related entries from The Devil's Dictionary by the American humorist Ambrose Bierce. Peripatetic, adjective, walking about, relating to the philosophy of Aristotle, who, while expounding it, moved from place to place in order to avoid his pupils' objections. A needless precaution, they knew no more of the matter than he. Noumenon, noun, that which exists, as distinguished from that which merely seems to exist, the latter being a phenomenon. The noumenon is a bit difficult to locate. It can be apprehended only by a process of reasoning, which is a phenomenon. Nevertheless, the discovery and exposition of noumena offer a rich field for what Lewes calls the endless variety and excitement of philosophic thought. Hurrah, therefore, for the noumenon. Newtonian, adjective, pertaining to a philosophy of the universe invented by Newton, who discovered that an apple will fall to the ground, but was unable to say why. His successors and disciples have advanced so far as to be able to say when. Sophistry, noun, the controversial method of an opponent, distinguished from one's own by superior insincerity and fooling. This method is that of the later sophists, a Grecian sect of philosophers who began by teaching wisdom, prudence, science, art, and, in brief, whatever men ought to know, but lost themselves in a maze of quibbles and a fog of words. Academe, noun, an ancient school where morality and philosophy were taught. Academy, noun, from academe, a modern school where football is taught. Half, noun, one of two equal parts into which a thing may be divided, or considered as divided. In the 14th century, a heated discussion arose among theologists and philosophers as to whether omniscience could part an object into three halves, and the pious Father Aldrovinus publicly prayed in the cathedral at Rouen that God would demonstrate the affirmative of the proposition in some signal and unmistakable way, and particularly, if it should please him, upon the body of that hardy blasphemer Manutius Procanus, who maintained the negative. Procanus, however, was spared to die of the bite of a viper. Life, noun, a spiritual pickle preserving the body from decay. We live in daily apprehension of its loss, yet when lost, it is not missed. The question, is life worth living, has been much discussed, particularly by those who think it is not, many of whom have written at great length in support of their view, and by careful observance of the laws of health enjoyed for long terms of years the honors of successful controversy. Malthusian, adjective, pertaining to Malthus and his doctrines. Malthus believed in artificially limiting population, but found that it could not be done by talking. One of the most practical exponents of the Malthusian ideal was Herod of Judea, though all famous soldiers have been of the same way of thinking. Immoral, adjective, inexpedient. Whatever in the long run, and with regard to the greater number of instances, men find to be generally inexpedient, comes to be considered wrong, wicked, immoral. If man's notions of right and wrong have any other basis than this of expediency, if they originated or could have originated in any other way, if actions have in themselves a moral character apart from and nowise dependent on their consequences, then all philosophy is a lie and reason a disorder of the mind.